Hello, Year 11, it's Miss Beardsworth. I'm going to talk you through the things that you need to be doing this year to make sure that you are really successful at the end of the year and get the best grade you possibly can in maths. As you know, we sit the Edexcel maths paper. We do 3 papers, which are all 1.5 hours each. One is non-calculator and 2 of them are calculator. The higher paper goes from grades 9 to 3 and the foundation paper goes from grades 5 to 1. So these papers are quite different. There's only about 25% of questions that appear on both the higher and foundation. So the content is not very similar. So it is quite difficult to make a change from one paper to another paper later on in the year. If we're going to make any changes, they need to be done earlier on, possibly before Christmas. That's why it is really important that when you're doing your mock exams that you work really hard and you revise properly for them, because we need to be confident that we have got you on the correct paper to get your best possible grade. The thing that is going to impact your grade the most this year is the exam practice you do and the revision you do. As you know, we do a 5-year scheme of work in maths, so that means that we have covered most of the content already, and now we need to go back over it, practice it, and revise it. Now, as a department, we are doing things to support you with this. We are doing period 6 each week, and whilst everybody is welcome to come to period 6, if you are personally invited, it is really important that you go. Because if you're personally invited, it means we are covering something that you have struggled with. And if you don't come and access it in period 6, it may be a topic that we don't have time to go over again in lessons. So if you're invited to period 6, make sure you come. It's very different at school at the moment, but that doesn't mean we can't help and support you in the maths department. If there's anything you are stuck on during your revision or during your homework, email us on Google Classrooms and we will either be able to see you in the lesson about it, or we may be able to email you back and give you the help and advice you need. Please make use of that and send us messages if you need help. Your independent revision is what's going to really change your grade. Now, it's really important that we're in the best position possible when we come to the exam, because your grade will depend where you rank within the country. Now, this sounds a bit strange, but basically about half the amount of people in year 11 across the country will get a grade 5. Now, if everybody studies really, really hard and does really well on the paper, it doesn't mean that more people get a grade 5. What it means is the grade boundary goes up. We're still only going to give 50% of people a grade 5. So you are in a race against everybody else, and you need to make sure you know more than other people to make sure you're ahead of them. Now, the grade boundaries have gone up in maths over the last few years. You can see from the charts in front of you. In 2018, you needed 169 marks to get a grade 5, and in 2019, you needed 184. And it's the same with the grade 4. And that's not because the papers have got easier. It's because students were working incredibly hard and have done better overall than they have done previously. So you're in competition with everybody else and you need to make sure that you're fully prepared for the exams. So we're doing lots of lessons to help you with this. That's one of the reasons that we do so many mock exams and practice papers and lessons. So you will do at least one paper every half term, whether it be as a proper mock or just within the lesson. And every paper you do, we as a maths team analyse it question by question. So I input all your marks you get for each question into a spreadsheet, and then that allows me as your teacher to see which people have struggled on which topics, or which topics the class as a whole is really good at. So if you can see an example in front of you, the top line is for adding fractions, and I can see there that only approximately 7 people in the class can't do it. So that will be something that I will want to cover in period 6. And again, that's me talking about if you're invited to period 6, it's important that you go, because I'm not going to use a lesson for that when only 7 people can't do it and the majority of the class can. On top of that, we will then give you your own personal revision list. So this is from your mock exam, or the one that you did in lessons, and you can see all the topics that either you've done really well and you've got all right, they're the green ones. The amber ones you need to do a bit more work, and the red ones are the ones that you've really struggled with. You've either got less than half marks or you haven't got any marks. So that is forming a revision list for you. You want to be looking at the red topics and then going away and revising them. So it's very easy to say go away and revise, but what do we mean by that? The first thing you need to do when you've picked your topic, so for instance on this list here I might pick finding the equation of a line. First thing I would do is I would go to my notebook, my orange notebook, and I would try and find that topic. The reason your orange notebook is the best thing to use is because it is laid out and the method is exactly as your teacher has shown you in lessons how you have learned to do it. Revision guides are good, but they might show you a different method to the one that you're used to, so it could be confusing. So before you start doing any questions, you need to go back to your notebook and remind yourself how you do that particular topic. We can then go away and practice My Maths. Practice the topics. One of the areas we've said we want you to use is My Maths. So this is to start your revision off. We, as part of your homework, are setting you 5 My Maths to do a week. You need to do 5 a week. We have given you a list of all the different questions you need to do, and then you need to record on this grid what percentage you got for each of those. And you've got 3 attempts. You can have more attempts, but in order for it to be a pass, you need to get over 70%. And once you've done that, that counts as one of your 5 for the week, and you can do another one. Now on My Maths, once you've logged into the school login, you need to change it to GCSE 9 to 1, and then you go down to the revision and assessment section and you pick the booster pack which your sheet has the grades for. So you might be doing grades 3 to 4, you might be doing grades 4 to 5, and once you click on that you'll be able to find the topics that we have listed for you and the online homeworks. Please remember when you're doing your online homeworks that you need to log in with your personal login, otherwise it won't record your mark and it will look like you haven't done it. So that's part of your revision that we're setting you for homework, but then you need to do revision yourself. So if you've identified from your sheets from your mock a topic you need to revise, the first place, once you've been through your orange book, would be go to Maths Genie. Now Maths Genie is a great website for the basics. It lists everything by grade, so grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, you have all your topics. It has videos on there in case you need extra help, your orange notebook didn't help you enough. And then it's got lots and lots of questions, but they're quite straightforward questions which help you practice the skills. Now the reason it's so good is not only does it have the questions, but it has the work solutions. There's no point you doing any work unless you can see whether you're improving and whether you've got it right or not. So Maths Genie would be the place that you would go to learn the basics of the topic, and they're all broken down. There's grade 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and 9. So that's a lot of topics. That's why we need to start our revision now. Once you think you've got the basics, another great website would be Just Maths. Just Maths grade 1 to 9, and you need to click on whether you're doing higher or foundation. Questions are done by topics in exactly the same way, but these are more your exam style problem solving questions. These are more like the questions you will get in your exam. So this again is just a solving equations one, but it's more problem solving written questions. And this is also great because it has got the written solutions. Every piece of work you do, you need to make sure you're getting it correct or being able to mark it. So that's your basic revision. And then the absolute key to getting a good grade is when you start doing your exam papers. And we will get these to you. There'll be exam paper packs for you to purchase before Christmas. The more exam papers you can do will be so beneficial to you in your exam, because the exam board can only think up so many questions, and you will see that they start repeating very similar questions. So the more papers you've done, the more likely it is you're going to go into the exam and think, yes, I recognise that question, I've done one similar. People who end up getting the best grades are the people who do papers after papers after papers, because it's maths and they can only ask you so much, and so they start asking you the same things again. So that is the order that we're going to do things in. Your orange notes books to revise the topic. You do your My Maths. You use Maths Genie to do the basics, then you practice on Just Maths, and then you do exam papers, probably starting around Christmas time. If you're struggling with anything, you contact the Maths department. We're here to help you. And if you follow this process, you will do so well in your exams in the summer, because we know you will, because we've seen it before. So good luck. Get in contact with us if you need anything, and you will do absolutely amazing.